I am Renee Chapman, and I am 32 years of age. 3 days following my family's arrival at the reunion for my father's 60th birthday, I checked my banking app and was greeted by a savings account balance of zero. The previous week, the figure had stood at $403,127. 8 years of meticulous saving for my dream home vanished in a heartbeat. My hands quivered as I dialed the bank. The customer service representative validated what I found hard to accept. The transfer was authorized by Richard Chapman, my father and co-owner of the account. Upon confronting him, he chuckled. "We required it more than you, Renee. Your employment situation is secure. It's possible to regain it." A sensation stirred within me. Click. Not shatter, but release. My voice remained calm as I responded. "Then you prepare yourself for what's about to unfold." Before I dive into the events that transpired when that doorbell chimed, I invite you to take a moment to do. If this story speaks to you, consider liking and subscribing. I'm curious, where are you tuning in from? What time is it in your location? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. To explain my decision, I must begin at the start. I grew up raised in Denver, Colorado, in what many would describe as a cozy middle-class household. My father, Richard Chapman, dedicated 32 years to his role as a branch manager at a small regional bank before 3 years ago. My mother, Linda, dedicated her life to being a homemaker, firmly believing in her role. My main responsibility was to hold the family together, regardless of the sacrifices involved. From the moment I grasped the meaning of words, I grasped a singular truth above all. Family takes precedence. It was woven into each dialogue, each festive address, each burdened phone call. Family looks after one another. Those with abundance lend a hand to those in need. Bonds of kinship run deep. My younger brother Derek trailed me by 4 years. At some point, my parents concluded that he was the one deserving of their attention. Investing in boys is crucial. They require additional support. My mother often remarked, "Derek has potential. He simply requires the appropriate chances." From a young age, I understood that my position set me apart. I took on the role of the responsible party, the dependable individual, the one who earned scholarships, held part-time jobs beginning at 16, and never requested anything. At the age of 17, my father included his name on my bank account. Hot off the press. "In the event that something occurs," he stated, his voice steady and comforting like that of a seasoned banker. "This approach allows me to assist you in handling situations should an emergency arise." I accepted it without hesitation. I have never taken away him. What would be the reason for me to do that? He was my dad. He would never do such a thing. I reminded myself of that for a decade and a half. Reflecting on the past, I recognized the meticulous effort that went into establishing the groundwork. Each family gathering, every instance I received compliments for being the compliant child, every nuanced indication that my needs were. Ultimately, it was all about the groundwork laid beforehand. I was completely unaware of what lay ahead of me. Allow me to present to you the proof of purchase. I preserved every single one. A common risk associated with the role of a data analyst. Back in 2016, at the age of 24, I found myself with an individual. I just received a promotion to my first senior position at DataSphere, a tech company located in downtown Denver, and my parents called to celebrate. The roof had developed a leak. Repairs were beyond their financial reach. "May I offer my assistance?" I moved $15,000. From 2017 to 2020, Derek attended college. The tuition consistently fell short. The scholarships did not materialize. Assistance with funding didn't suffice. Mom wept on the phone, lamenting how Derek would have to withdraw. I addressed $28,000 in tuition shortfalls. In 2019, my mother received a diagnosis of severe rheumatoid arthritis. Insurance did not encompass all aspects. Dad mentioned they were overwhelmed by medical bills. I spent $12,000. In 2021, Derek encountered a promising venture in the realm of real estate investment that was sure to yield results. He simply required initial funding. He would reimburse me within a year. I lent him $8,000. I never caught a whiff of it. From 2022 to 2024, numerous unforeseen circumstances, vehicle maintenance, surprise expenses, festive costs they were unprepared for rather conceal. An additional $24,000, one fragment at a time, exceeding $87,000 in a decade. I meticulously recorded each dollar in a spreadsheet, organized with a vibrant color coding system by category, recorded by transaction. Not that I anticipated repayment, but rather it's simply a reflection of my character. Information brings solace. Figures speak the truth. Do you realize something? I didn't get a thank you card. A sincere acknowledgement of appreciation. Not even a recognition that I had given up anything whatsoever. What I received in return was, "You have a solid position, Renee. You don't have children to think about. Support from family is beneficial." Family. What I received was the honor of serving as the family ATM, while my brother was labeled the one with promise. In spite of all that I relinquished, a dream lingered within me. A subtle, unwavering aspiration that fueled my determination through each additional shift, each vacation I passed up. Every moment I convinced myself to forego something lovely for my own enjoyment. I desired a home, not a house. Not a spectacle, just a simple dwelling in the outskirts of Denver, with a backyard filled with blooming flowers, a spacious living room perfect for gatherings with friends, and walls that truly feel like my own. I embarked on my journey. I began saving diligently at the age of 24, immediately following my first promotion. I established automated transactions. I established a distinct high-yield savings account. I resided in a humble apartment, navigated the streets in a decade-old Honda, and brewed my coffee at home rather than indulging in Starbucks. My aspiration amounted to $150,000, sufficient for a 20% down payment on a $750,000 home in a respectable area. Following 8 years of dedication, commitment, and repeatedly denying myself, I found I had $140,312, 67. I was on the brink, the flavor of success lingering on my lips. I had already visited 3 houses. The third one was flawless. A craftsman-style residence featuring a charming wraparound porch and elegant hardwood finishes. Levels, along with a backyard that offers room for a garden. The price being sought was $735,000. I intend to extend an offer in the week following my father's birthday celebration. There's a lingering thought that troubles me. 2 years prior, everything crumbled, and I nearly took my father off that account. I was in the process of refreshing my financial details, and the bank representative inquired whether I wished to alter the co-owner status. I paused, uncertainty creeping in. I then reached out to my dad to share. His voice became icy. "You've lost faith in your own father after all that has transpired. What have I accomplished for you?" I expressed my regrets. The name remains on the account. The choice made. It cost me $140,322.67. The celebration of my father's 60th birthday took place on a Saturday in early June at my parents' home in Lakewood. 20 guests occupied the living room and backyard. Relatives, kin, extended family, cherished connections, companions, acquaintances who had been a part of our lives for many years. The decorations exuded elegance. The food was catered, and I later discovered it had been paid for with money Derek had borrowed from an unknown source. All were attired cheerfully, beaming, embodying the image of a blissful, well-adjusted family for onlookers. My father delivered a poignant address on the themes of gratitude and legacy. My mother looked at him with deep affection. Derek lingered at their side, presented to all as our emerging real estate investor. No one noted that his previous 3 investments had not succeeded. It was never brought up that I had supported 2 of them financially. I found myself seated in the corner, cradling a glass of wine. I observed the unfolding performance. A number of family members inquired about the typical matters. "When will you tie the knot? Are you still renting? Still no house?" I beamed and diverted. The thing that caught my attention, the thing I found impossible to overlook, was the manner in which my father and Derek remained closely grouped together during the entire party. They would murmur softly, cast fleeting glances in my direction, only to avert their eyes when I captured their attention. Something was unfolding, something I was never meant to witness. As the party drew to a close, my Aunt Helen beckoned me over. She was my father's elder sister, aged 65. I was the sole member of my extended family who recognized that I tended to give excessively. Her grip tightened around my hand. "Dear Renee, darling, you have already given so much. Exercise caution." I brushed it aside with a chuckle. "Be cautious of—" "What is it, Aunt Helen?" She remained silent. She merely gazed at me with an expression I was unable to identify. Perhaps a sense of compassion or a subtle hint of caution. 3 days later, clarity dawned upon me. It was a Tuesday morning. Everything I knew came crashing down. I found myself seated at my desk at Datasphere, immersed in the analysis of quarterly analytics reports, when my phone vibrated, signaling the arrival of an email. The email's subject line stated, "Transaction confirmation, Mountain West, Federal." I presumed it to be junk. Attempts to deceive individuals by imitating bank communications were quite prevalent. I was on the verge of deleting it, a moment that caused me to stop and reflect. The account number displayed in the preview corresponds with my own. I launched my banking application. Accumulated funds profile. Balance is 0. For a complete 30 seconds, I found myself unable to exhale. I gazed at the screen, convinced that there must have been an error, a malfunction, There seems to be a display error, an issue of some sort. I dialed the customer service line for Mountain West Federal, my hands trembling with anxiety. The representative exhibited politeness and professionalism, yet was entirely unhelpful in the manner that only financial institutions are capable of achieving. "Madam, A transfer of $140,31267 was successfully processed yesterday from your account. Transfer funds from a savings account to an external account. The co-owner of the account, Mr. Richard, has given his authorization for the transaction." "Chapman, that is my father." "Indeed, ma'am. As a co-account holder, he possesses complete—" "I did not authorize this transfer. I was unaware of it." A halt. "Madam, our documentation indicates that the transaction was validated through electronic means." Trademark. "Shall I send you the confirmation documentation via email?" "Absolutely, I would be delighted." I ended the call and remained in my cubicle, lost in thought, gazing into the void. 8 years have passed. 8 years of, in an instant, all that I had sacrificed, the discipline I had cultivated, and the dreams I held dear were taken from me by the very man who was meant to shield me. The email came through just 3 minutes later. I opened the attachment and noticed my name on the electronic signature line, but I had not put pen to paper at any point. My father had done more than simply take my money. He had crafted my identity to accomplish it. I reached out to my dad from the parking garage of my office building. This conversation required a certain level of privacy. I required to listen to his tone when he elaborated. He picked up on the second ring. "Renee," I had anticipated, "it's your decision." Without guilt or hesitation, simply a serene recognition as we were, engaging in a conversation about the weather. "Dad," my voice just broke. "All of my savings, the money, it. Indeed, I have completed the transfer. What is the reason behind this?" He let out a sigh, just as he always did when I believed I was being challenging. Derek found himself in a predicament. Renee, his investment property did not go as planned. He had a debt to the bank, $120,000. Foreclosure was imminent. I felt compelled to assist him. Using my funds, as well as those from my family, he made the necessary corrections. I prioritized Derek's future above all else. I allocated a portion to reduce his debt and the remainder as a down payment on a fresh space for him. A new beginning that encompassed all I possessed, 8 years of preservation. I had plans to purchase a home. "But you still have the chance," he cut in. "One secure a fulfilling position. You possess great intelligence. You'll recover it swiftly. Derek lacks the advantages you possess. He requires assistance." I caught a glimpse of my mother's voice lingering in the background. "Inform her that it's intended for the family. She will comprehend." "Renee," the tone of my father changed, adopting the commanding voice of a banker that I had been familiar with throughout my life. I nurtured you for 18 years, provided. You provided for your needs, supported your education. This is the essence of family. We give, we endure. I required that money more than you did. A chill, pure and sharp, took residence in my chest. You faked my signature, Dad. Upon the electronic confirmation. Stillness. I did not authorize that transfer. The bank possesses records bearing my name, unsigned documentation. Then, let there be more silence. You seem to be exaggerating your response. I was not. On that evening, I reached out to Marcus Webb. Marcus and I have shared a friendship that dates back to our college days. We first crossed paths in a freshman economics class. Years passed and we maintained our connection through graduations, career shifts, and the whirlwind of life. He had become a lawyer with a focus on specialization in cases of financial fraud, employed at a mid-sized firm located in downtown Denver. Renee? His voice carried a comforting warmth as he responded. Months have passed. What's happening? On? I revealed all my thoughts to him. The account, the transfer, the forged signature, the conversation with my father over the phone. Upon completion, a lengthy silence ensued. Renee, this is of utmost importance. Potentially a felony serious level. Could you clarify what you mean? Your father's role as a co-owner adds complexity to the situation, yet it does not grant him the ability to create your signature on authorization documents. If he forged an electronic signature to create the one, when a transfer seems authentic, it is in fact forgery. Considering the unapproved aspect of the transfer, we are examining possible allegations of bank fraud and identity theft. My stomach plummeted. I wish to avoid sending my father to prison. I see your point, but it's important for you to be aware of the choices available to you. Marcus's voice carried a softness yet resolute. What truly holds significance at this moment is clear. Mountain West Federal offers a 72-hour opportunity to challenge questionable transactions. Subsequently, the transfer is designated as confirmed in their successful. The system complicates the recovery of funds significantly. I glance at the time displayed on my phone. The transfer has been successfully completed. On a Tuesday morning, Tuesday night had arrived. Time is slipping away. I have under 48 hours. Indeed. And Renee, he hesitated. An email containing your electronic signature was referenced. Perform. Do you still possess it? Indeed. Kindly send it my way. If you happen to know someone skilled in digital forensics, please ask them to examine the data, about data. If that signature originated from a device other than your own, it serves as proof of forgery. I was acquainted with an individual. Carla Diaz held the position of Senior Digital Forensics Specialist at DataSphere. We collaborated on data. For 2 years, I engaged in integrity projects, placing my full trust in her expertise. On Wednesday morning, I managed to speak with her just before our department meeting. Carla, I have a personal request to ask of you. She gazed at my visage. Sleep had eluded me, and I was acutely aware of its visible effects as I nodded in acknowledgement. What do you require? I sent her the bank's confirmation email that included the electronic signature. Could you please examine the metadata? Could you please inform me about the origin of this signature? She accomplished it in under an hour. Renee? Carla's voice held a measured tone as she summoned me into her office. The signature was not created using any of your devices. The metadata indicates it was generated on a device with a wholly varied IP address. In the residential area of Denver, yet it certainly doesn't feel like your home or mobile device. Could you please clarify whose machine it is? She displayed her analysis on the screen. The IP leads to a home address located in Lakewood, the residence of my parents. There's additional information, Carla pressed on. The signature bears a timestamp of 3:47 a.m., the dawn of a new week, Monday morning. Did you find yourself awake at 3:47 a.m.? Is it on Monday? No. Then an individual. I accessed your banking portal and created the signature while you were asleep. Renee, she pivoted to meet my gaze head-on. This constitutes identity theft. Classic identity theft. Someone has manipulated your digital identity to carry out a transaction that you did not consent to. I found myself in her office, the printed forensic report resting heavily in my grasp. This was not merely no more betrayal. This was an egregious act. This needs to be documented. I stated it officially. Could you please prepare a formal report? Carla gave a slight nod. I will have it to you by the end of the day. I apologize, Renee. I deeply regret that this is occurring to you. Only 40 hours remained. On that Wednesday evening, I found myself solitary in my apartment, enveloped by the signs of my own subjugation. Upon the display of my laptop, the to-a spreadsheet detailing the $87,000 I had provided to my family over the course of a decade, during my friend. The coffee table held Carla's forensic report, which provided undeniable proof of the signature forgery. During my friend, my phone shows 17 missed calls from my mother. I returned her call. Renee, I'm so grateful. Mom's voice trembled with urgency, filled with a desperate plea. Your father mentioned, I can sense that you're feeling upset. Darling, it's important for you to grasp this. Mom, I require Dad to repay the money within the next 24 hours. Stillness. Every single one of it. 140,300 children's 67s in my past account by tomorrow evening. If that's the case, I will be submitting a police report for identity theft and bank fraud. Renee? My mother's voice shattered into a sob. It's unimaginable to treat your own father that way. We nurtured you. We gave up everything for you. How can you display such a lack of gratitude? He created my mark of distinction. Mom, he took my identity. This is not a matter of family discord. This constitutes an offense. It isn't theft when it involves family. That money, you intended to squander it on a house while your brother required it more. Your father made a decision. He decided. At this moment, I am crafting my own. Please, Renee. She existed. Tears are flowing now. The deceitful tears I had succumbed to countless times prior. Consider your actions carefully. You will obliterate this family. Your father might face imprisonment. Is that truly what you desire? To destroy us? I pondered Aunt Helen's caution. I reflected on 8 years of dedication. I reflected on each occasion when I had been informed my needs were overlooked. I'm not causing any destruction, Mom. I am safeguarding my well-being. In a moment unlike any other I've experienced, I am prioritizing myself. I ended the call. A full day has elapsed. There was no refund issued. As I flipped open my laptop, my fingers danced across the keyboard, crafting a detailed police report. On Thursday morning at 9:15 morning, the Financial Crimes Unit of the Denver Police Department, I found myself seated opposite Detective Sarah Mitchell, a woman in her 40s with keen eyes and a straightforward demeanor bearing. On the desk that lay between us, Carla's forensic report, my bank statements, and the spreadsheet chronicling a decade of familial assistance, along with a printed copy of the deceptive confirmation email. Detective Mitchell meticulously examined each meticulously record the details, interspersing inquiries as needed. Upon completing her task, she raised her gaze to meet mine. Miss Chapman, considering based on what you've shared, this seems to align with the definition of identity theft, as outlined in Colorado Revised Statute 18-2-5902, and possible bank fraud in accordance with Federal Statute 18, USC Section 1344, the electronic signature carries significant implications. What comes next? We commence an inquiry. I will liaise with the fraud department at Mountain West Federal. This is something they'll definitely want to check out. Forensic analysis. Should their internal investigation validate the evidence you've presented, we will have a basis to take action. Fees. She presented me with a form. Your official identity theft report is here. The case number is 2024 DEN 78432. This will be necessary for the bank's dispute. Procedure. I placed my signature where required, my hand unwavering. Ms. Chapman, Investigator Mitchell's voice took on a gentler tone. I observe numerous instances of financial misconduct. Kin cases present the greatest challenges. Are you ready to face the implications of this? The decision was his to make. Now he will confront the repercussions. She gave a slight nod. Indeed. Stay connected. I was just about to step outside when she called out to me. Another one. Object. Upon processing your name in the system, an alert was triggered. A personal loan of $25,000 has been active for 6 months. In your name long ago. Did you know about that? I stood still, paralyzed by the moment. No, I have not submitted an application for any type of loan. Detective Mitchell jotted down a note. In that case, we could be considering several instances of identity theft. The family attack commenced shortly after the filing of the document. My phone erupted with a flurry of messages and voicemails from my mother, each one more frantic than the previous. Why would you do this to us? Messages from Derek. You no longer exist in my world. I trust you are aware of that. Conversations from family members I hadn't been in touch with for ages. Unexpectedly quite eager to express how awful a daughter I am was. On Friday morning, I received a call from my father. His voice was frigid. I have listened to what you... Indeed, Renee. Reporting your own father to the authorities? You took my money and shaped my essence. What were your expectations? I anticipated your loyalty. Remember the ones who nurtured you, who provided for you, who offered you their all. You provided... I'm feeling a mix of guilt and expectations, Dad. I achieved all the rest on my own. Do you really believe the police will take your word over mine? I was a bank manager for 32 years. I possess a network of acquaintances, allies, and a solid standing. I'm just the daughter with forensic proof that you committed identity theft from your own IP address at 3:47 a.m. Silence. He finally declared, I'm giving you one last chance. Let this go. Tell the police you made a mistake. We can still fix this as a family. The only thing that needed fixing was my boundaries. Consider them fixed. I hung up. An hour later, my cousin Rachel texted me. Heard about what you did to Uncle Richard. That's cold, Renee. He's family. Then Aunt Patricia. Your mother is devastated. I hope you're happy. Then Uncle Thomas from California. What's this I hear about police? Call me. Only one message stood out from Aunt Helen. I support you. Stay strong. I saved that one. On Saturday, exactly 1 week after my father's birthday party, I saw the Facebook post. Derek had created an event page. The header image showed a gleaming apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of downtown Denver. The caption read, Housewarming party. Come celebrate my new place in Highlands. Saturday, June 15th, 6 p.m. Can't wait to show you all what hard work and smart investing can achieve. Hard work, smart investing. My stomach churned as I scrolled through the guest list. 45 people had RSVP'd. Derek's coworkers, college friends, family members, neighbors. My parents were listed as co-hosts. The apartment address was visible. A trendy complex in the Highlands neighborhood, one of Denver's most desirable areas. I looked up the listing. 2 bedrooms, modern finishes, open floor plan. Estimated value, $400,000. The down payment alone would have been at least $80,000. I did the math. My father had transferred $140,367 from my account. He said he used part of it to pay down Derek's debt, and the rest as a down payment on this apartment. My brother was hosting a party to celebrate his new home, a home purchased with my stolen money, while I sat in my rented apartment wondering if I'd ever achieve my own dream. The irony was suffocating. I noticed I hadn't been invited. Of course, I hadn't, but someone else had noticed. Aunt Helen commented on the post. Lovely apartment, Derek. Where did you find the money for such a nice down payment? Derek's reply was carefully vague. Family helped out. You know how it is. Yes, I knew exactly how it was. The party was in 8 days. I made a phone call. 5 days after I filed the police report, I received a call from Mountain West Federal's Fraud Investigation Department. Miss Chapman, this is Daniel Torres from our fraud resolution team. I'm calling regarding case number FRD 2024067891. I sat up straight at my desk, heart pounding. Yes, we've completed our preliminary investigation into the disputed transaction on your account. I want to inform you of our findings. Go ahead. Our internal analysis, combined with the forensic report provided by the Denver Police Department, confirms that the electronic signature authorizing the June 4th transfer was not generated from any device registered to your banking profile. The IP address and device fingerprint match a residential location in Lakewood, Colorado, which our records show is the address of the secondary account holder, Richard Chapman. I exhaled. So you're confirming it was fraudulent? We're confirming that the transaction authorization was created without your knowledge or consent, using forged credentials. Under our terms of service and federal banking regulations, this constitutes an unauthorized transaction. What happens now? What? We've frozen the relevant accounts pending criminal investigation. We've also forwarded our findings to the Denver Police Department. Ms. Chapman? His tone shifted, becoming more personal. I've been in fraud investigation for 12 years. Family cases are rare, but they're always the most painful. I'm sorry you're going through this. Thank you. What about my money? Once the criminal investigation reaches a certain threshold, which, given the evidence, should be soon, will begin the process of reversing the fraudulent transaction. You should expect full restitution of $140, $3,067, within 30 to 60 days. I thanked him and hung up, then immediately called Detective Mitchell. The bank confirmed the fraud. What's next? Next, she said, we execute an arrest warrant. Do you have a preference on timing? I did.